Before European ships appeared on the horizon, the Americas were alive with civilizations that built cities, farmed landscapes, traded across continents, and observed the stars with incredible precision. These lands weren't empty wilderness. They were home to tens of millions of people, each carrying rich cultures and technologies uniquely adapted to their world. Let's start in Mesoamerica, the region that includes modern Mexico and Central America. Around 1325, in the Valley of Mexico, the Aztec Empire rose from humble beginnings. Their capital, Tenochtitlan, stood where Mexico City stands today. The city was a masterpiece of engineering built on an island in a lake, with canals, floating gardens called chinampas, and massive stone temples that reached toward the sky. The Aztecs recorded history with pictographs, practiced advanced agriculture, and maintained vast trade networks stretching hundreds of miles. Their markets buzzed with cacao beans, obsidian tools, and vibrant textiles. But before the Aztecs, another mighty civilization ruled the region: the Maya, who lived across modern-day southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras. Cities like Tikal, Palenque, and Copan were centers of learning, art, and astronomy. The Maya mapped the movements of the planets, created complex calendars, and built pyramids that still draw millions of tourists today. Their writing system, made up of over 800 glyphs, is one of the most sophisticated scripts of the ancient world. Even after many major cities were abandoned around the 9th century, Maya communities and traditions survived and continue today. Traveling south to modern Peru, we reach the heart of the Inca Empire, headquartered in Cusco. Before Spanish arrival, it was the largest empire in the Americas, stretching over 2,500 miles through mountains, deserts, and jungles. The Inca didn't have a written language, but they kept detailed records with quipus colorful strings, with knots that represented numbers and possibly other information. They built an impressive road system known as the Chapac Ñan, spanning more than 25,000 miles, connecting remote mountain villages with the grand capital. High in the Andes sits Machu Picchu, an architectural marvel built around 1450. Without iron tools or wheels, the Inca shaped stone with incredible precision, creating buildings that have stood for centuries through earthquakes and time. Let's not forget North America, where countless nations thrived long before colonization. In the Mississippi Valley stood the great city of Cahokia, near today's St. Louis, Missouri. Between 1050 and 1350 CE, it was larger than medieval London, home to perhaps 20,000 people. Its massive earthen mounds, like Monk's Mound, still rise from the landscape, a reminder of the city's complex political and religious life. Cahokia's residents grew maize, crafted shell jewelry, and traded with peoples as far away as the Great Lakes and Gulf Coast. To the east, the Iroquois Confederacy, also called the Haudenosaunee, spanned parts of modern New York and Canada. The Confederacy united several nations, including the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca. Known for their democratic government, the Iroquois developed a constitution that would later inspire some of the ideas behind the U.S. government. Their great law of peace promoted unity and balance among the nations, proof that political sophistication flourished in North America long before European contact. Farther west, powerful cultures thrived in different landscapes. In the desert southwest, the ancestral Puebloans built stone cities and cliff dwellings, such as Mesa Verde in present-day Colorado and Chaco Canyon in New Mexico. They constructed massive, multi-story complexes from sandstone and developed irrigation systems that tamed the arid land. Trade routes brought turquoise, feathers, and pottery to and from distant regions, connecting them with cultures across the continent. Up north along the Pacific coast, the peoples of the northwest coast, like the Haida, Tlingit, and Kwakwaka'wakw, lived rich lives supported by fishing and forestry. They carved majestic totem poles that told family histories and stories of spiritual significance. Their potlatch ceremonies, filled with dance, art, and feasting, reflected a culture based on generosity and community, rather than greed. In the far north, Inuit peoples mastered life in the Arctic, stretching from Alaska to Greenland. They built igloos from snow, crafted tools from bone and stone, and developed specialized clothing to withstand freezing conditions. Their oral storytelling traditions, full of myth and wisdom, preserved history in one of Earth's harshest environments. Moving back south to the vast prairies, plains nations like the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Blackfoot built their lives around the buffalo. Even before European introduced horses, they were skilled hunters and traders, adapting to a way of life that balanced mobility with sustainability. Spiritual ceremonies like the sun dance reflected deep respect for nature and community. In the tropical forests of South America, civilizations like the Muisca, centered near modern Bogota, Colombia, formed confederations known for goldwork so fine it inspired the legend of El Dorado. In the vast Amazon basin, numerous indigenous nations cultivated food, shaped the land, and maintained vast networks through rivers long before European maps ever noted them. Across these continents, the peoples of the Americas transformed their environments. They domesticated crops like maize, potatoes, beans, and tomatoes, foods that would later reshape global diets. Their knowledge of astronomy, engineering, art, and medicine rivaled that of Old World civilizations. From the terraced fields of the Andes to the ball courts of the Maya lowlands, their achievements reflected not isolation, but ingenuity, creativity, and connection. Before colonization, the Americas were not a new world. They were many worlds, advanced and diverse. Every region held innovations that reflected the people's relationship with their land and ancestors. The forests, mountains, and plains were alive with voices, traditions, and societies shaped by thousands of years of history. When Europeans arrived, they encountered civilizations with deep roots and complex systems of knowledge. The encounter changed both worlds forever, but the legacies of the first Americans are still alive today, in languages, art, foods, and communities that continue to thrive. If you enjoy content like this, please subscribe and turn on your notification. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers.